Now it's time for us to take a look at what the Daily Trust is saying this morning. And the major story there says decisions on clemency not final. And this is coming from the FG. And you can find more details on page 3. Senate confirms Amupitan as INEC chairman. You can find details on page 4. Ulama rejects Christians' genocide claim. You can find more details on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And 3-year-old baby raped, murdered in Jigawa. You can find more details on page 21. Killings continue despite truce in Gaza. You can find more details on page 30 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And above the belt, troops arrest wounded bandits, destroys camps in Kogi. 2026 Hajj. Saudi Arabia slashes Nigeria's slot to 66,910. You can find more details on page 6 and of the Daily Trust newspaper. Why our governors are defecting to PDP. Why our governors are defecting. This is coming from PDP. You can find more details on page 12 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. All right, so let's take a look at the Guardian this morning. How the major story there says, how praise singers override party agenda and scorecards at rallies. You can find more details on page 4. And this is the big story for the Guardian this morning. And then a heavy reliance on oil domestic debts exposed Nigeria to financial risks. IMF warns. So you can find more details on page 6. Defection legal dispute rocks PDP as APC governors project a strength unity in Kebbi. You can find more details on page 6. Presidential pardon under review, says AGF as Macaulay's family pushed back. You can find more details on page 7. World Food Day. FG taxed on support for local farmers, equitable distribution. You can find more details on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. And NMA says Kanu fit for trial as Ohaneze Group advocates a dialogue. You can find more details on page 29. And then aviation experts kick as Kalu accuses pilots of smoking marijuana. You can find more details on page 28. Obi Wike trade words over 2027 presidency, capacity to lead. You can find more details on page 29 also. And then NBA Speedo police agreed to review tinted permit policy. You can find more details on page 27. And that's the much that there is on the Guardian this morning.
And now to the Nigerian Tribune. Boldly written is, my agenda for INEC, says Amupitan. Senate confirms his nomination, says improvement of logistics, electoral offences commission imperative, speaks on beavers, IREV, and may consider drones for logistics. Credible elections will promote public confidence, he declares. You can find all this in page 3 of the Tribune. Withheld Oshun LG phones. State AG can sue on behalf of local governments, Abuja court rules. This is right in page 4 of the Tribune. Nnamdi Kanu's ailment not life-threatening, fit to stand trial. NMA tells court. This is in page 22. Kogi government raises bandits camps, arrests 2 suspects. You can find this in page 25 of the Tribune. 2026 Hajj, NACON meets states to review fare as Saudi Arabia reduces Nigerian slot to 66,910. This is right in page 6 of the Tribune. Right at the top, as presidential prerogative of mercy at review stage, not final, says the AGF. This is in page 6. Rivers government cancels 134 billion naira secretariat reconstruction contract awarded by IBAS. Well, this is in page 3 of the Tribune. PDP unshaken by defections, ready for landmark convention in Ibadan, says Finteri. Court reaffirms order on parties not to take any step on PDP convention. This is right in page 5 of the Tribune. Ekiti has enjoyed rapid economic growth in 3 years, says Oyebanji. This is on page 22 also of the Tribune, and that is the much that there is in the Tribune newspaper today.
All right, let's quickly take a look at Vanguard. And on Vanguard, the major story there says, INEC, in my time, losers will congratulate winners. This is coming from Amupitan. You can find more details on page 5. Users' rapid data depletion threatens telecom sector growth. You can find more details on page 14. Rivers revokes 134 billion contract awarded by IBAS under reformed. You can find more details on page 12. And 2027 APC moles have taken over INC. Scribes cries out. You can find more details on page 9. 2026 World Cup playoffs, 14 billion windfall from FIFA awaits NFF. You can find more details on page 30 on sports. And then while we have not released inmates pardoned by Tinubu, you can find more details on page 2. Suicide takes center stage as Vanguard's third Mental Health Day Summit holds today. You can find more details on page 7. And presidential pardon, Macaulay's shouldn't have been lumped with ex-convicts. Now, this is coming from the family. You can find more details on page 10. And that's the much that there is for the Vanguard this morning.
Well, to help us review the headlines this morning is Ben Shamang via Zoom. Good morning, Ben Shamang. Thank you very much for joining us. So, on the Daily Trust, the first headline there says, the bold headline says, decision on clemency not final, says federal government. What do you have to say about this?
Well, it simply means that the government is responsive. It's responding to the outcry. Some people are feeling so bad about it. The case of Mariam Sanda, because such a recent thing, and it's given this expedited kind of a review. Then you also go to Herbert Macaulay, 1913. He was Surveyor General during the colonial era. So at the point they said either that he was inflating some things or something like that. Now you lump them with those who are selling arms. A former major who was selling arms to Niger Delta military, so being set free. How much was he selling this arms? Things bought by taxpayers' money. He was selling it for to people who carried up arms against the state. So people were worried at the point. Look at NDLEA. You're talking about NAFDAC. You're talking about EFCC, police. They will try and catch criminals at the expense of their life. Now they've been prosecuted. They are given jail sentences. Today they've been reduced. In other words, it's like you are telling these agencies, look, your work does not even matter after all. But they are worried they surrender their life. Now, the judges too, who sentence these people, what will be their fate when these people come out finally? And you look at those who did the prosecution, due diligence to ensure that the judgment became so impeccable, you cannot question it. It's so weird. Now, you're saying that you've forgiven these people and all that stuff. It's not easy. However, some people will say that maybe money exchanged hands. Who indeed was given the money? Was it members of the National Executive Council? And if you look at the body that approved that this amnesty be given, it's a constitutional matter. The prerogative of mercy is thereby invested to the president. He can do it under some recommendations, and he so did it. But it has never happened that 175 people, one single minute like this, you just say these are the cases before you so refused and all that stuff, or some forgiven. You just go as if you never committed anything. And that's why you have the hue and cry over it. So you should have done quite a lot of the psyching of the community or society or Nigerians to know the implications before this action was taken.
All right, so Mr. Bang, there were so many outrage when a lot of Nigerians came out to talk about the country turning into a one-party state. I'm talking about the wave of defection now that we are seeing, and a lot of politicians came out to say, oh, it's not going to be a one-party state. But now we are seeing the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, and also Nyesom Wike talking about the wave of defection and saying the Tinubu's administration and policies are actually working. What do you think this means for the 2027 elections?
Well, you see, those are the pro-Tinubu people will always tell you it's because the government is very attractive. It is doing what what Nigerians want, and that is why you have this scale or level of defections. But PDP will also fire back. I said, look, they are relying on what Oshimole, when he was chairman of acting chairman of APC, he said, whoever you are, whatever offense you have done or committed, be forgiven in as much as you cross over to APC. And now, is it that the governors are feeling that on leaving power they might be prosecuted? That is one. Two, are they fearing that if they have the presidential backup or they'll hide under the president, that will make them in elections? Because if you check some billboards in some states, you just see a very big billboard. Who do you see? The president, that of the governor. And if you go to some states, you see a governor, you see the president, the governor, and you even see the senator. In other words, the senator is probably trying to hide under the governor. The two of them are trying to hide under the president. But some people will say in all of that 2027 is for the voter to decide. And in deciding, therefore, people are hoping that there has to be credible, acceptable elections that will meet standards in every form. And I think that time has come to, since they are talking about election, amending the laws. If you want to lead a party and you have been elected to a position and you are in occupation, you have to resign first. And the position is declared vacant, and then you go contest again in a different party. And if you win, then you cross over. Not that people will take to cross an ocean, and as soon as you cross, you abandon them for the water or the water level to take them. It's wrong. So if the governors are simply believing that if they go to APC prosecution, therefore they won't face, so be it. And that's the stand of PDP. But APC is also saying that because the president is doing well, and that's why people are crossing over to the party.
Okay, Ben Shamang, let's talk about the next headline, which is Senate confirms Amupitan as INEC chairman. What can you say about this headline?
Yes, you see, right from when it came out, some people started saying that he is part of the team that defended Tinubu at the Supreme Court. And now, Anupitan actually came out at the screening and said he has a certified true copy of those who defended Tinubu. His name isn't there. But all the same, he has given Nigerians the assurance that he's going to conduct elections that the losers will even congratulate the winners. But we hope that those who don't mean well will not be the ones to scuttle the process to ensure that he fails. This era of inconclusive election should not be the same. Once we have it, that way. Not that at the point, no, this one is inconclusive. So if he has come with that promise, so be it. But a question of independence came in. Where does he get the money? That same money will have to come through the same presidency. Will the presidency approve the money and he works against presidency? We are not saying he should work against president. Just the idea, as the name implies, Independent National Electoral Commission. And of course, people are saying, well, INEC now conduct elections for local government, because any party of the governor at the state level must always win, whether there are elections or not. Now he said he's going to the drawing board, he's going to study that, but he made one thing very, very key. If you have state independent electoral commission, do you have voter card that are for the state? No, they are for INEC at the national level. So there is a contradiction somewhere. If you use a federal might to perpetrate some wrongs at the state level, so who do we blame? So we hope that he's coming on board to actually make a change that Nigerians are looking for.
All right, so we are seeing, Rivers revokes 134 billion contract awarded by Abbas under, and others refund. I mean, after the emergency rule was lifted, we are seeing the changes the governor is making in the state. Do you think this is actually good for Fubara?
Honestly, I think he's fighting too many battles in different fronts. Fubara is not, is my best opinion. It's not, I think he's wrong here. If government is a continuum, it's like he's saying, okay, I hereby condemn the emergency rule that took place. That has brought calm when we had the emergency rule. If Rear Admiral Ibok Ibas did some things and you feel you don't like them, I mean, contracts have already been awarded. If you now cancel them, you have litigations, you go to court. When will you finish all those ones? Will you just say, okay, I'm the executive governor, and therefore I can use my executive powers to fiat, to just be canceling here and there? What were the agreements signed that with Wiki or some other people to ensure that, look, everything is going to be calm in Rivers? So if you cancel that, you also see that, yes, many people who are already working, employed people, you throw them again into the unemployment market. Recall this was the governor who also demolished the state assembly so that lawmakers will not have where to sit and even impeach him. Quite a lot of ETCs and carryovers and keeping views within the government of Rivers State. If I were to be Fubara, I will not go into all of this. I'll go into projects that I'll try and beat Wike in terms of projects in Rivers State. Not that you want to show some infantile, some very weakling. Well, let me put it this way politically, because he's actually been stripped of his wings, political wings, if he has. So if I were him, I would do things that 2027, I'll try to sell myself and come back. But maybe he's not interested in the next election. But truly, I think he's fighting too many battles. Time is running against him. How months do we have now between now and 2027? So a little time.
So in 1 minute, there's this headline in Daily Trust, why governors are defecting, says the PDP. I mean, recently some sitting governors defected from the PDP to the APC. So what can you say about this?
Well, like we said earlier, some still believe that if they go to the federal level, some will say, "Oh, we want to be at the central point. I want to be with the president. I want to be with the president's party." Meanwhile, it wasn't that that on board. You don't act alone to move there. Also, if you say you are moving to the central, any money that is due to you as a state government is already there for you statutorily. So why would you say, let me go to the center? What is in the center? You can also pull, show a difference because you have the money, you have the acumen, you have the capability, you can bring a surprise in terms of development. But you don't feel that if you go to a bigger state, therefore I think it doesn't augur well for this kind of democracy. People talking of this one party kind of, you're rushing there just, to be noticed or what? So it has to be protected against what? Except if you have some fears. And those but see, like I always say, no matter how the wrongs you've committed, you cannot continue. Like I always demonstrate like this, you cannot hide behind your finger. It's wrong. It doesn't work that way.
All right, thank you very much, Ben Shaman, for taking out time to be on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, this is the much that we have for you this morning, and we have come to the end of Daybreak on Trust TV. On top of the hour, Adeni Ajishafe will be bringing you sport news. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa. Do stay safe out there.
Well, see you tomorrow for Daybreak Extra. Myself and Fatima, of course, will be here. Keep a date with us. I am Mariam Idris. Have a very fantastic day ahead.